Welcome to the Lynn Lineup, a show that highlights upcoming events happening in the Lynn community. Today we're here to talk about the Greater Lynn Photographic Association's first fine art photo exhibit happening on Sunday, September 16th, 2018 from 3 to 5 p.m. And that's going to be at 564 Boston Street. If you're familiar with that area, it's right across the street from Sacred Heart Church. And I'm joined today by Ken Carlson, board member over at the GLPA. Thanks for joining me today, Ken.
Well, my pleasure. Thanks for having us.
So, for those out there that don't know who you guys are, what exactly is the Greater Lynn Photographic Association? What do you guys do?
Well, GLPA, what we do is our mission, if you will, really is to enhance the craft of photography, as well as the artistic license or growth within the photographers. We have educational programs, we do community service, we have a fairly large membership of 250 members, and we've been there since 1885.
That's impressive that you guys have been around for that long. Like, that's at the advent of photography, isn't it?
Well, it's certainly before my time, I can say that. And I've been a member since 2011, so I really, there are others that have an awful lot more of the historical ideas on it, and but it certainly served the Lynn community and members within the photographic community in the area for a long time.
And speaking about the Lynn community and the photographers in the area, what is your reach for the GLPA?
Well, we're open to anyone that wants to be a member. So we have members from large area. At some of those, obviously, we are 250 members. They're not all active. So we've got members that perhaps lived in Lynn at one time. They've moved to Vermont, they've moved to Maine, they've moved to Rhode Island, and they can continue to follow what goes on in the community, the Lynn Camera Club community, but also they can compete in the projected image, which all is done online. But clearly the vast majority of the memberships probably are within 10 miles of Lynn.
And so you guys say you have over 200 members, which is a really great amount. Within that membership, would you say that there's a good range of experience and age?
Well, let me just say, within that member, not 250 are active constantly. You probably divide that number in half. As in any club, there's a certain percentage of people that do most of everything. But as far as the age you asked about, the age, again, it's open to anyone, but realistically, most of the people are, I'm going to say, 40 or older. The young group tends to be in their 30s. We have very few that I would say were high school or college age at this point.
And the experience range?
Oh, experience goes from one extreme to the other. From rank beginners that hardly know how to turn on their camera and are coming to learn, learn how to do this and learn what a good photograph is, to actual masters, to people that compete internationally, that are known nationally. So you've got everything in between. And if we talk about competitions, for example, within the club, when those people compete, when the beginners compete, they compete against beginners. They don't compete against the masters. So as far as competitions go, we have 3 levels of competition: B for beginners, A for intermediate, and M for masters. As far as education goes, we have programs that are designed for the ranked beginners, and then we put together programs for the more advanced photographers.
So people that come in that, like you were saying, barely know how to turn on the camera, you have classes and workshops to help them learn the craft.
Well, there's what the workshops are each year vary every year. So, for example, we have a group, not only the fine arts group, but we have a whole bunch of other groups. One of them is in the digital group, where they tend to do things that are more in the elementary sort of perspective as far as things go. We have another group, again, the fine arts. There's a much more advanced group, But even with, let's say, for example, we take the nature group, or the print group. Now we have people that will come in, you'll show your images, you'll have a discussion. Those people that are in the very early stages of their career, are learning from the discussions from the more experienced people.
And you already mentioned a couple of the groups. We were talking before about the groups as well, and you'd also mentioned that they were like smartphone groups. So what other groups do you guys have?
Well, I have to get my notes for this. And I would say that the way the groups work is if you have a group of people with a similar interest, you basically go to the schedule coordinator and say, I'd like to make a group in fine arts, for example. And so you try and schedule times that are available at the club to have meetings. Sometimes during the year, there'd be something going on 7 days a week at the club. But the current groups that we have are fine arts, nature, print, digital, portfolio, still life, creative photography, and smartphone.
So a little bit of everything.
Yeah, and the groups are typically small. There might be 15, 18 people in a group. So really it's a small group setting where there's discussion and there's back and forth and there's hints and comments.
So since we're here to talk about the fine art photography exhibit coming up, would you care to explain what fine art photography is?
Well, that's sort of a moving target, exactly what it is. And the group itself, which I'm not part of the fine art group, has come up with all kinds of definitions. And again, if I can read something from them, part of the thing in their description is sometimes it's easier to say what is not fine art. But they've used a quote from a Brooks Jensen, who's an editor of Lens Viewer magazine, and he said, a good fine art photograph is one that makes the viewer so aware of the emotional content that the viewer is unaware of the print. So it's not a picture of your baby, it's not a picture of the birthday party, it's something where there's some depth to it and will stand the test of time.
So for people going to the event, because we only got a few minutes left,
yes.
How many photos and members are going to be featured at this exhibit?
There's going to be approximately 50 photos made by approximately 14 members. Again, it's from 3 to 5 on Sunday the 16th. There will be refreshments there. And members of the community should come over to check out the club to see what's going on, see the kind of work that's being done. And also you could ask any member there any questions you want. I really would encourage people that come up to ask questions about, what was the maker thinking here, and or what is the club like, or how do I join, or any other question you have. There'll be very welcoming group there who are more than happy to interact and help. Don't be shy.
And I noticed that this exhibit is actually dedicated to the memory of Susan Conley.
Yes, Sue Conley was a longtime member. She's been a member of the board, and she developed cancer and has been fighting that for a couple of years and died just a couple of weeks ago. She was active even as sick as she's been. She was on the nominating committee for the board right up until 2 months ago, and that's how we're honoring her.
So for people that want to get involved with the association, that want to find out more about you guys, how would they go about doing that?
Well, I think besides the fact that they can come, I also would go on our website, which I think you're going to show up on a slide there. Go to the website. There's a lot of information there, more than I could tell you in 45 minutes.
So thank you again for joining us. Again, this is for the Greater Lynn Photographic Association's first fine art photo exhibit happening on Sunday, September 16th from 3 to 5 p.m. at 564 Boston Street. Again, if you're familiar with the area, it's right across the street from Sacred Heart Church. That's it for this edition of the Lynn Lineup. Thanks for watching.